Well, first we were thankful that we had such good associations built with Central McConnell and the U.S. Department of Transportation, because without them, it wouldn't have happened. I think this used to be a Tiger grant maybe, and it used to be, it's like the third year we've tried. Infra and Fast Lane, so it's been a process, but we got great engineering to put us together a good plan, and we've been working on it, this one 11 months maybe, 10, 11 months, so I'm very excited because we think it'll do wonders for that Riverport, and also it's a safety factor too for 331 for the people who live out there. So just excited. It's Christmas. It's a good thing to have. $11 million. So we're very happy for it. And a big part of this too actually was how well the port has been managed and is being managed. Seriously, that went into several people up there made comments to that effect. So we've got a good team out there, and we're very supportive of what they're doing, and as long as that dividend keeps coming, we're going to be happy.
Anything else you wanted to add?
No, I was very pleased. I know there was a huge competition for the grant, and the fact that our Riverport perked to the top is just indicative of what the mayor said, the leadership that we have out there. It's going to mean a lot for this community. It's going to mean a lot for the region as far as economic development. I mean, there aren't a lot of communities that have a Riverport like this community has. So we're just really grateful and thankful to Senator McConnell and Secretary Chow and our own Todd England. Well, first of all, I think it's going to make it a lot easier to move materials, finished goods, over to the Riverport so they can be shipped anywhere in the U.S. or forget the U.S. and we don't want to do that, but can be shipped anywhere in the world now. We have a pathway down, and barge traffic is, I guess, the cheapest mode of transportation there is, Brian?
Correct.
So the fact that we have here in Owensboro that modality to do those kinds of things, it's wonderful for this community.
Well, starting back in early 2000s, this particular section of road has been a priority for the MPO for a number of years for that reason. If you look at the volume of movement, roughly 45 to 5,000 vehicles a day. Of that, 45% of them are large trucks that are hauling 20 to 25 tons apiece. And if you take 331 from 60, there's mixed use. It's an old rural road that needs to be expanded to accommodate all the industries. Roughly 13 industries that exist in an industrial park. We're just one portion of that industrial park, happen to be at the very end. But this helps all the industries up and down 331, as well as the residents that live in the area.
So it'll be all the way from 60 up to your point?
It'll be from Highway 60 into the Riverport of Ronaldo Road, approximately 0.2 of a mile.
There'd been discussion about it being a 3-lane project or a 4-lane project. At one point, are we sticking with 3 lanes?
At this point, for the grant application, it was conceptual design. It will be up to the state to determine the final design and the actual path of that road and how it will take from 60 all the way to the Riverport.
But with the amount of money that you have, does 3 lanes look like that's
Yes, with this most recent application, American Engineers, as a matter of fact, Kevin McLaren, helped support the initial conceptual design to include 3 lanes for a certain amount of miles up Industrial Drive.
Another part of that project was kind of pulling out that 90-degree turn that you guys have there. Is that also going to be a part of that project?
The second 90-degree turn is also factored into the conceptual design.
You talked about it being an exceptionally competitive grant. You guys have applied for this a number of times before now. What about this project? What about your application, in your opinion, took you over the edges here?
For me, I think it starts with the collective collaborative effort across not only the community but all the way at the federal level. From our involvement with the Maritime Administration, our involvement with the Department of Transportation, down through the state. Secretary Thomas as well as Secretary Gill are both supporters of this particular project. And the premise behind that support at the federal level and the state level is the fact that multimodal is critical today, but it's going to become more critical long term as the population grows and more vehicles and more trucks are needed on the road. This is not a short-term vision, this is more for the long-term vision. At the local level, there's efforts been put in by the Economic Development Committee, as well as the Chamber and the Mayor and the Judge. We've all collectively worked towards this third round in hopes to get the grant.
You know, the Ohio River is really our 4-lane highway, if you get right down to it. And having an asset like the Riverport is just going to make more traffic up and down through there and bring Owensboro out from not being a hidden gem anymore, but a place to locate.
I think starting with the entry into the industrial park, if you take that road from 60, first you have a vision of industrial development in that area, but when you see it on a narrow rural road, it's difficult to see the potential for growth long term. So with that new entry going into not only the Riverport, but all the industries around, to me, it's going to provide a better opportunity from the economic development side to look for companies that are interested in multimodal, river, rail, and the interstate.
Because the rail is a piece of this puzzle too, isn't it?
Correct. This particular project will help aid in our new business that will start next year with a local manufacturer who will be hauling, they'll be hauling automotive frames to us for delivery out by rail. And this will help aid in that access and minimize the risk of safety on 331.
That's what's housing, correct?
Correct.
Mayor, kind of interesting side facet to the story. Wasn't there a time that the city itself was going to be applying for this grant?
This particular grant,
Yeah.
or the build grant in general?
The build grant, in general?
Well, we'll apply for anything that's available, I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Were you guys going to use it for
That-
54 or something?
At one time, 54 was looking at this grant, but 54 decided to step back and support the Riverport and their application. You're not going to get two of those grants in a single community, so I think it was wise on the 54 group to do that.
Well, and U.S. Department of Transportation
Right.
also gave us a little boost in financing too for the 54 project. I guess it was a month or so ago, which
Right.
helped ease the tension. Because that is a big growth plate out there, but we're just tickled to death that we had this thing come through for us right here at Christmas time.
Well, I couldn't be more excited, but really it's thanks to Senator McConnell and Brian and the staff at the Riverport. That's who really needs to be commended for this, their leadership there at the Riverport.
As our employees have stated, we've had a very solid year ending this past June. There are market conditions. A lot of what we do is dependent on market conditions as commodities are traded, whether it's on the grain side, fertilizer side, or the metal side. However, we do have things in place. As I mentioned, the frame loading from the Tulsa will be a big shot in the arm for the Riverport starting next year. We're expanding our Solvay facility, $3.4 million facility as we speak for future growth with Solvay Chemical. And when you think about easy access, we're about turns of vehicles and trucks. So it's important for us that the commodities move in a timely manner in and out of the port. And that's one huge benefit for us because that provides our customers with quicker access to materials. We ship roughly in a 150-mile radius of Owensboro in all directions. So their ability to get in and out of the port, get back on the interstate 69, the future 69, the future 65, and or go north will definitely prove benefits long term. Many of those opportunities that come through the cabinet and or our local EDC, you may not get that direct information. It's generally at a higher level, which could be all-inclusive. Could it be the property itself? Is it build ready? Is it accessible? However, coming into that industrial park, first impression is a lasting impression. And that's why we believe not only addressing the safety aspect of that area where residents do live and driveways do back out onto that main corridor, but what's that first impression when you're going into a public facility and or the other portions of the industrial park?
We're trying to get one section raised, and we haven't done it yet, but we think that's gonna happen. I'm sure that it will be. I'm sure we can all go to KYTC and use former engineers who used to work there and have them lobby for us and get that paid. I mean, it all ties together, the Riverport, the airport, and our highway system. It all ties together, and in my opinion, and I think most of the people who live in Owensboro, Davis County, believe that we've got the three pieces of the puzzle.
Certainly could be, you know, that's a pretty long-range project, and there's quite a few things that have to come together before we talk about that piece being an interstate spur. But, you know, more traffic, better economic development, that's what it's all about if you're gonna grow your community and grow your tax base.
There is a defined timeline for the build application, and I don't have the specific layout, but the intent is for construction in 2020. So the process of design, coordination directly with the state DOT first, and then defining the criteria for who's going to design the road, and then the rest of the steps, the right-of-way, the utility, and the construction plan for
It's a
2020.
long time to do stuff. We've got-
Any concerns with your guys as that construction process is ongoing about delays?
At this point, I have
I mean, I know it's early.
no concerns.
No concerns, okay.
All rainbows and butterflies, right?
That's right.
Mhm.
It's
Ho, ho,
Christmas
ho,
time.
baby.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else?